What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nar for the Nar Report. Back today with another episode. This is episode 20 of the Nar Report. And I just want to say thank y'all for all the love and support. Keep on doing that, and I'll keep on coming, baby. In today's episode, we'll talk about a lot of things. The college football semis are set between Texas and Ohio State, and Notre Dame and Penn State. And I'll tell you who's going to win those two games and advance to the championship. The NFL season is a wrap. I'm here to recap all of the games that really matter. But if it really didn't matter, I ain't going to say that much. And then the NFL playoffs are here. I'm here to give y'all my official wild card preview predictions for each and every game. All right? Let's get into it. Starting off with the college football semis. And if you haven't, make sure you sub to the YouTube, click that bell, click that follow button on every time I go live. And make sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms at @D_NAR_report. Let's get into it. Starting off with the college football semis, we got Texas and Ohio State. That's going to be a very good game. Those two teams play each other on, let me see what they play. I believe they play Friday or Thursday. Let me see. No, they play on the 10th, which is, let me see what that is. That's on Friday. Right. So Texas and Ohio State will play this Friday at 7:30, starting off the semifinals. This is going to be a very good game. It's going to come down to the wire. And I love both of these teams. Ohio State is a huge underdog. Ain't nobody expected this team to make it this far because usually in the college football playoffs, Ohio State is one and done. But this team has a chance to win it all. This team really has a chance to win it all. Now, let's talk about Texas. Now, officially, Texas are the favorites to win it all because UGA is eliminated from the playoffs. But when I look at this team, Texas is a very good team. They got a very good quarterback. Quarterback play is very good. The offense is good. Their running game is efficient. And they got a very good defense as well, too. So I'm taking Texas to beat Ohio State. But I do feel like it's going to be a close game, though. Next up, we got Penn State and Notre Dame. Those two will play each other on Thursday. I got Penn State winning. I love the way Penn State has been playing throughout the whole playoffs. They've been dominating so far. And that is my championship right there, national championship, Texas and Penn State. It's going to be a shootout and come down to the wire. I would love to see that championship. So I got Texas and Penn State advancing to the national championship. And that's it for college football. Now we move on to the NFL. Week 18 of the NFL season is a wrap. The regular season is over. It is time for the playoffs. And I'm here to recap all of the games. Starting off with the two Saturday games. Those two games were from the AFC North. You got the Browns and the Ravens and the Bengals and the Steelers. And I'm here to recap all of the games right now. Starting off with the first game, the Baltimore Ravens defeated the Cleveland Browns 35-10 as the Baltimore Ravens win this game and clinch the AFC North title for the second year in a row. Let's talk about it. The Baltimore Ravens played a great game. I love what I've seen from the running game. Derrick Henry, he had a good game. And I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. By playoff time, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry will be the best rushing duo in the league. This is the best rushing duo in the league right now because no defense can stop these two guys because before Lamar Jackson had Derrick Henry, there was no really rushing game like that with him and the other running back. But since Derrick Henry came over there, they became the best rushing duo in the league. Let's talk about the game in general. Lamar Jackson had a great game, 16 for 32 for completion, threw for 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. King Henry had a good game, 20 attempts, ran for 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson on the ground, 9 attempts for 63 yards and 0 touchdowns. This is why I say Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson is the best rushing duo in the league because who can stop these two guys, okay, on the ground? When they have the ball, it is dangerous, all right? And by playoff time, which is this weekend, they're going to be a problem. And then I'm also give y'all my official playoff predictions, starting off with wild card weekend as well, too, and I'm going to go on from there. But otherwise, though, The Baltimore Ravens played a great game. The defense was great too. I love what I've seen for the Baltimore Ravens, and they are the biggest threats to the Kansas City Chiefs. And all that, Lamar doesn't do well in the playoffs. Playoff Lamar this, playoff Lamar that. Well, guess what? Lamar about to shut all the critics up during these playoffs. He will. Mark my words. And then for the Browns, they ain't really playing for nothing. They're eliminated from playoff contention. But that's it. Ravens win 35-10. Now, moving on to the next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers in another AFC North showdown. Bengals win 19-17 in Pittsburgh. What a game this was, as the Bengals finished 9-8 the season, eliminated from playoff contention. They got one part done, which was win. The Dolphins lost, but they needed the Chiefs to lose to win. They needed the Broncos lose too in order for them to make the playoffs, but it really mattered because Chiefs were risking their starters against the Broncos. But let's talk about it in general. Joe Burrow, he played a great game. I love what I've seen from Burrow. He had a great game. The offense was good. The defense was great. Next year, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a problem, okay? Watch out for this team. I'm telling you. Next year, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a problem. All right? Let's look at the stats for Joe Burrow. 37 for 46 from completion, threw for 277 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Jamar Chase, he had a good game. 14 targets, 10 receptions, 96 yards, and 1 touchdown. And all I got to say is, next season, they better bring back T. Higgins to keep that offensive core together, because when Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and T. Higgins are on the field together, that offense is scary. All right? I'm telling you, next season, the Bengals are going to be a problem. They're probably going to win the AFC North next year. I think next year, the Cincinnati Bengals win the AFC North. All right? Mark my words. Now let's talk about the Steelers. Russell Wilson, he did not have a good game. 17 for 31 for completion, threw for 148 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. See, here's the thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, y'all 10-7. Y'all made the playoffs. But let me go ahead and say this right now. And I want y'all to hear me loud and clear. The Pittsburgh Steelers are one and done. Okay? This team is one and done. All right? At one point, they were 10-3, in good shape to win the division, but then went on a losing streak. Like, they haven't been playing good football lately. And that's why I say the Steelers are one and done. Russell Wilson is not a bad quarterback. It's just they haven't been playing great football. The offense is struggling. The defense is going to do their thing. I'm not worried about the defense. It's the offense-wise, all right? Because the Steelers got a good defense. The offense, Russell Wilson is not cooking right now. All right? So the Steelers, they ain't played a great game. And if they would have won this game, they would have clinched the 5 seed and go to Houston. But since they lost and the Chargers won, the Steelers will be going to Baltimore to play the Ravens in the wild card round. And that's it. Bengals win 19-17. Watch out for the Cincinnati Bengals next season, because these boys are going to be a problem. Now, moving on to the Sunday games at 1 o'clock. Starting off with my Atlanta Falcons losing to the Carolina Panthers. The Atlanta Falcons finished the season 8-9. But on the bright side, we did not finish 7-10 again. But that's still like 1 point of a win and loss, all right? I'm just glad we didn't finish 7-10 again, all right? But let's talk about it in general. The Atlanta Falcons offense played great. Michael Penn Jr. played a great game. Bijan Robinson, that guy is him. Top 3 running back in the league. Drake London, that dude is spectacular. All right. Let's look at the stats from Michael Penix Jr. 21 for 38 from completion, threw for 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. But that 1 interception was not his fault. And see, here's the thing about Michael Penix Jr. versus Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, when he throws interceptions, it be his fault. But Penix, it don't be his fault. It'll be tipped and they intercepted. But Kirk is just throwing it to the other team and it's intercepted. So I love what I've seen from Michael Penix Jr. The Atlanta Falcons got a great future for their quarterback. And we got weapons too for him. Bijan, Drake, hoping to get a new tight end, because I'll say we can go ahead and move on from Kyle Pitts. But let's talk about this game in general. The offense played well. The defense was garbage. Hot garbage. Swiss cheese. The Panthers put up 44 points on you in your final game of the regular season at home with a chance to go to the playoffs, which technically it really didn't matter because the Buccaneers ended up winning against the Saints. But at halftime, it was looking good, though. It was 24-17 Falcons, 16-6 Saints. And all they have to do is Saints win, Falcons win, we're in the playoffs. But now Tampa Bay comes back, wins the game. Mike Evans, congratulations to 1K. I'm going to talk about that game in a minute after this. But otherwise, though, the Falcons' future is bright. I'm just glad that we officially found our franchise quarterback in Michael Penix Jr. And looking at the stats for Bijan Robinson, he had a good game, 28 attempts, ran for 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. Drake London, he had a good game, 18 targets, 10 receptions for 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. Drake London and Bijan Robinson carried the offense. Okay, if it wasn't for those two guys, the game would have even been close. Now let's talk about the Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are going to be a problem next year in the NFC South. Watch out for this team because Bryce Young is playing way better than he was at first. Next year, I'm telling you, watch out for these guys. And I'm not even worried about the Panthers because they're in our division. But next year, though, our division is going to come down to the wire like Week 18, just like the NFC West. All right? So watch out for the South next year. But, hey, I'm not worried, though. At least my Atlanta Falcons going to do what they're going to have to do. But just don't disappoint me. All right? Bryce Young, he had an amazing game. The Panthers scored 6 touchdowns. Bryce Young had 5 touchdowns, 2 rushing, and 3 passing. Bryce Young for passing, 25 for 34 for completion, threw for 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Man, Bryce Young made the Falcons defense look like goofballs out there, okay? Bryce Young looked like 2015 Cam Newton. The way he played against this Atlanta Falcons defense, bro, our defense made Bryce Young look like primetime Cam Newton out there. Running the ball very well, making good throws. Like, we made the Panthers look like the best team in the division. That's why I said next year, watch out for the Panthers. But otherwise, though, I love what I've seen from Bryce Young. He has a very bright future ahead of him, and hopefully he can take this team to where they need to be. But that's it. Panthers win 44-38, and the Falcons season comes to an end, and they finish 8-9. On the bright side, like I said, we didn't finish 7-10. Now, moving on to the other NFC South game, we got the New Orleans Saints versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks win 27-19 against the Saints in Tampa Bay to clinch their 4th consecutive NFC South title. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for winning the NFC South again. Man, the sad part is the Falcons swept this team and they still somehow won this division. But that's the Falcons, bro. I'm not going to speak negative on my team. It's just next year, though, the Falcons will be back. But let's talk about this game in general. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first half was garbage, okay? The offense wasn't good. The defense wasn't great. At halftime, it was 16-6 Saints. In the locker room at halftime, I feel like Baker Mayfield told his teammates, offense and defense, hey, we need to wake up. This is our season right here. Well, they lucky that we lost too. See, if they would have lost and we would have lost, they still would have won the division. But anyways, though, I'm glad they came into the second half and stood on business and captured that NFC South title. Let's talk about it. Baker Mayfield, he had a great game. Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback, and the Cleveland Browns slept on him. All right, the Browns slept on this dude. Baker Mayfield, 21 for 32 from completion, threw for 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Mike Evans, congratulations to 1K, man. You are tied with Jerry Rice for the most 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons. Mike Evans, he had a good game, 14 targets, 9 receptions for 89 yards. The running game was good. Berkey Irvin, I like him, man. He is a swifty running back. He's fast and he's quick too. You know, quick with the juke moves and all that stuff. I like Berkey Irvin. But next year, though, this offense is going to be elite. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin back healthy too, this offense is going to be dangerous. All right. So watch out for the Buccaneers. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm a Falcons fan and this team is our division, but I'm just speaking facts. Okay. I'm just giving credit where credit is due. Next season, though, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is going to be elite. Now let's go to the Saints. Spencer Rattler had a decent game, 26 for 42 for completion, threw for 240 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. The Saints in the first half played great, but in the second half, in the fourth quarter, it was 19-13, and then Tampa Bay scored a touchdown with Jalen McMillan, and then scored a touchdown with 2 minutes left to cut it to an 8-point game. It's 4th and 5. Saints need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They failed. Buzz get the ball. Baker throws it to Mike Evans. 1K, man. And that ended the game. The team went to go celebrate. Clock winding down. Clock hit zeros. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are your NFC South champions once again. But otherwise, though, when I was watching this game, I'm kind of glad that the Buccaneers won because we lost. Now, we would have lost and the Saints won, I would have crashed out. All right, real talk. I would have crashed out 100%. But anyways, though, when the Buccaneers won, I was like, man, this game don't even matter no more. I don't even care if we won or lost. But otherwise, though, at least it was competitive. Realistically, though, I didn't really see the Saints beating the Buccaneers, but I'm just glad the Bucs didn't put up 50 again, okay? Just like they did in New Orleans. But that's it. Bucs win 27-19, capturing their 4th consecutive NFC South champion once again, like I said. Moving on to the next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the New York Giants 20-13. This game doesn't really matter, okay? Because Eagles locked into the 2 seed, the Giants tanking, battling for draft positions, but I'm not really going to say much about this game. And here's about the games that really didn't matter. I'm not going to talk about them. I'm just going to talk about the score, and that's it. And another game that didn't matter, the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans. Texans win 23-14 in Tennessee. Houston's locked into the 4 seed. Will go up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots. Patriots win 23-16. This game didn't matter as well, too, as the Buffalo Bills are locked into the 2 seed in the AFC. Another game that mattered to Green Bay, which they could have captured the 6th seed if they would have won and Washington lost. Bears win 24-22 in Green Bay against their division rival, the Green Bay Packers. Hold on. Wait. Did I just say the Chicago Bears defeated the Green Bay Packers? The Chicago Bears done finally won a game. We got to clap it up, man. Congratulations to the Chicago Bears for beating the Green Bay Packers. And the Bears almost swept the Packers this year. But usually the Packers own the Bears. But in Chicago, the Bears were in the same situation to kick a game-winning field goal. It was blocked. The Bears came back to Lambeau with redemption. I'm just glad that the Chicago Bears finally won a game. They finally got rid of that, out of that Hail Mary thing in Washington, okay? Now they can, I'm glad they got their final win of the season. They can go on to the offseason and get ready for next year, though. But let's talk about this game in general. Caleb Williams, he had a good game. 21 for 29 for completion, threw for 148 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. Caleb Williams had a great game, yo. And next year, though, I feel like if the Bears' offense can stay the same, like they just need the offensive line needs to improve and a good coach, I think the Chicago Bears could end up making the playoffs next year as the 7th seed if this team goes into the right direction with right quarterback play, a good defense, and good coaching. Now let's talk about the Packers. Jordan Love ended up getting hurt, but these are the stats. 7 for 12 from completion, threw for 69 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Malik Willis came in as the backup, 10 targets, 10 for 13 for completion, threw for 136 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Malik Willis is a good backup quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. And if he's starting, I feel like this game will be close because even though Jordan Love has been out, the Green Bay Packers have been balling. And the Packers are locked into the 7th seed. They'll go to Philadelphia and play the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card round. And that's it. Bears win 24-10. Man, I can't believe the Bears won a game. Next up, we got the Washington Commanders defeating the Dallas Cowboys 23-19. And Dallas Commanders with the game-winning drive down by 3. It was 19-16. Jaden Daniels drives down the field, scores, throws a touchdown to Scary Terry for the win as the Washington Commanders clinch that 6th seed in the NFC. They are going to the playoffs, and they'll face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Commanders played a great game. The offense was great. The defense was good. Here are the stats for the Washington Commanders. Marcus Mariota, the backup quarterback, also played as well, too. He had a good game, too. But I feel like since Washington's in the playoffs, Jaden Daniels is about to go crazy. All right? Watch out for Jaden Daniels because he's about to go off. I'm telling you right now. Watch out for Jaden Daniels. Playoff Jaden, that's what I'm calling him. Playoff Jaden, baby. And for the Cowboys, they played a great game, yo. It was their last home game of the season. Didn't get a win, but hey, they got 2 home games. At least they won some home games. But otherwise, their season's over, and the Cowboys finished 7-10. Let's see what they do next year. Will they bring back McCarthy? Will they keep him? What are they going to do at coaching position? But looking at the stats for Jaden Daniels, 6 for 12 from completion, threw for 38 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Jaden Daniels ended up exiting the game with an injury, but Marcus Mariota played a great game. So my correction, it wasn't Jaden Daniels to Scary Terry. It was, I believe it was Mariota to Scary Terry. Or, yes, it was Mariota to Scary Terry because Jaden Daniels did not throw any touchdowns. Marcus Mariota, 15 for 18 for completion, threw for 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. And the Washington's defense played well, too. And that's it. Commanders win 23-19 and are officially a playoff lock to the 6th seed. Next game, we got the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Colts win 26-23. Who watched this game? Okay, just the AFC South rivalry showdown, whatever you want to call it. Well, anyways, though, ain't nothing much to say. Okay. Now, moving on to the 4 o'clock games. We're going to start off with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos mock blowout BTA on the Kansas City Chiefs. 38-0, clinching that final spot in the AFC. They are the 7th seed and going to the playoffs. Ending that 8th season playoff route. Congratulations. The Denver Broncos officially found themselves a franchise quarterback, and they're going to be a playoff team with years to come. All right, let's talk about it. Bo Nix, amazing game. 26 for 29 from completion, threw for 321 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Bo Nix played spectacular. Now, the Chiefs, yes, they were resting their starters, but I knew that the Broncos were going to win, but I didn't see a blowout coming. All right, nobody didn't tell me it was going to be a blowout, but the Denver Broncos went crazy. Okay, and they are the 7th seed going to Buffalo to play the Bills. And if they upset, I'll be surprised. All right, but that's it. Broncos win 38-0. Moving on to the next game, we got the New York Jets defeating the Miami Dolphins 32-20, eliminated the Dolphins from playoff contention. Let's talk about it. Aaron Rodgers played a great game, 23 for 36 for completion, threw for 274 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Aaron Rodgers, this might have been his last game of the NFL career, might have been his last game with the Jets, but who knows, man. But Aaron Rodgers balled out. All right. Devontae Adams, he had a great game, 12 targets, 6 receptions for 88 yards and 1 touchdown. Miami did not play the great game at all. Tyler Huntley, awful. 25 for 41 for completion. Threw for 227 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Now, question is, for the Dolphins, will Tyreek Hill be back with the Dolphins next year, though? That's up for grabs. But Dolphin fans, just pray that he stays. And that's it. Jets win 32-20. Moving on to the next game, the Seattle Seahawks defeated the Los Angeles Rams 30-25. The Rams are locked into the 4th seed. If they would have won this game, they would have been a 3 seed hosting the Commanders. But instead, they're the 4 seed hosting the Minnesota Vikings. Let's talk about it. The Seattle Seahawks, I can't believe this was a 10-7 team that missed the playoffs. This team finished 10-7 and still missed the playoffs. This should have been for the division right here. All right, because this was a good old game. Let's talk about it. Geno Smith had a great game, 27 for completion, threw for 223 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. The Rams, Jimmy Garoppolo, he played a great game, 27 from 41 for completion, threw for 334 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Both of these teams played exceptionally well. All right. And the Rams, by playoff time, the Los Angeles Rams, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. The Rams could upset the Vikings, okay? They could upset the Minnesota Vikings. But that's it. Seahawks win 30-25. Moving on to the next game, we got the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Chargers win 34-20, clinching that 5 seed in the AFC. They will go to Houston to take on the Texans. Let's talk about it. Justin Herbert, he had a great game, 28 for 36 from completion, threw for 346 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interception. Let me go ahead and say this. The Los Angeles Chargers could make it to the AFC Championship game. Yes, I believe the Los Angeles Chargers could make a run to the AFC Championship game, and here is why. Number one, they got a good head coach in Jim Harbaugh, who's made his return back to the NFL. They have an elite quarterback in Justin Herbert. Their running game is good. Their passing game is good. And they got a good defense. So that's why I feel like the Los Angeles Chargers could make it to the AFC Championship game. And they can upset the Chiefs. All right. I'm not saying they are going to upset the Chiefs, but they can upset the Chiefs. All right. So watch out for the Chargers by playoff time. And then for the Raiders, it really didn't matter to them. But this game really mattered to the Chargers because playoff seeding-wise, see if they would have lost 6 seed, 1, 5 seed, but I'm glad that the Chargers got that 5 seed, take on the Houston Texans, which should be an easy win because it's like their bye week, okay? I feel like they will handle business in Houston against the Texans, but don't overestimate the Texans for the Chargers, all right? Chargers do not overestimate the Houston Texans because Houston will come ready to play. And that's it. Chargers win 34-20. Moving on to the next game. This game did not even matter. Cardinals blow out the 49ers 47-24. Last but not least, Sunday Night Football, the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions destroyed the Minnesota Vikings 31-9. Lions win the NFC North for the second year in a row. The Vikings did not even score a touchdown at all. It's crazy because when it was like they were in the red zone too, had plenty of opportunities to score a touchdown. And they didn't even get into the end zone not one time. The Detroit Lions came ready to play. The offense was great. The defense played exceptionally well. The offense, Jahmyr Gibbs, you're the MVP. All right? You was this Detroit Lions offense because you had an amazing game. For rushing, 23 attempts, ran for 139 yards and 3 touchdowns. Let me see how many he had for receiving Jahmyr Gibbs. 5 targets, 5 receptions for 31 yards and 1 touchdown. Jared Goff, he had a great game. 27 for 33 from completion, threw for 231 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Jahmyr Gibbs was the Detroit Lions offense. He is the MVP of the game. All right. And the Detroit Lions are going to come out of the NFC. All right. They are officially locked into the number 1 seed. They got the first round bye, and they'll face the lowest seed in the NFC. The Detroit Lions are about to be a problem, okay? And this is one of my second favorite teams that I have winning the Super Bowl. My first is the Baltimore Ravens, which I'll explain by the end of the video. Now for the Vikings. Sam Darnold played like hot trash. This wasn't the type of game y'all needed or type of momentum y'all needed going into the playoffs. Now that y'all are a road team going to Los Angeles to play a challenge good Rams team whose offense is insane. This is a rematch from week 8 or week 7 when they missed that face mask. So the Vikings will be ready to play. Sam Darnold, looking at his stats, 18 for 41 for completion, threw for 166 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. That was an awful game by Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings. And that's it. Lions win 31-9. Now, the NFL playoffs are here. I'm here to give you my official wild card and officially playoff predictions and picks. I'm going to give you a preview on every wild card game. All right. From order. Starting off with the Saturday games, we got the Houston Texans taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. This game will be played in Houston. I have the Chargers winning because the Chargers are the better team overall. They have a lot of momentum. Justin Herbert is going to outplay C.J. Stroud. The defense is going to play well for the Chargers. Their running game is going to be good. Justin Herbert is going to have a field day out there in Houston. The Texans, C.J. Stroud lost his top 2 targets for the season, and Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell. But the offense is still good, though. He has to rely on Nico Collins. Nico Collins needs to have a good game in order for this Houston Texans offense to be great. The defense, the Texans defense is great, too. It's going to be a competitive game, but I feel like the Chargers will walk into Houston and get the job done. Next game, we got the Baltimore Ravens defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ravens, Steelers, and Baltimore. This is going to be a good game. And I won't be surprised if the Steelers upset. I am picking the Baltimore Ravens because the Steelers do not have no momentum in the playoffs. All right? And I'll say this again. What have the Pittsburgh Steelers done? Okay? What have they done? They were 10-3, lost 4 in a row. Yes, they're going to the playoffs, but I feel like Baltimore's going to run all over Pittsburgh. You got Lamar Jackson playing like an MVP. You got Derrick Henry, probably the best running back in the NFL. The defense has gotten better for Baltimore. This Ravens team is about to go crazy. The Ravens are about to be scary in these playoffs, okay? And yes, they are the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs. But the Steelers' defense is not a problem, though. But the offense, though, going up against this Ravens defense, good luck, man. Ravens winning that game. Next game, we got the Denver Broncos taking on the Buffalo Bills and Buffalo. If I didn't mention, that Steelers and Ravens game will be played in Baltimore, and the Texans and Chargers will be played in Houston. We got the number 2 seed Buffalo Bills taking on the Denver Broncos, 7 seed. Bo Nix versus Josh Allen. I'm picking the Buffalo Bills because there's no chance that the Broncos win this game, okay? And if they do, I will be surprised. I will be shocked if the Denver Broncos walk into Buffalo and defeat the Buffalo Bills. You got Josh Allen, the favorites to win MVP. I'm telling you, right now, Lamar Jackson is still going to win MVP. But the playoffs, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, depending on how these playoffs work, depending on how they play in the playoffs, is going to determine who's going to win the MVP. And they don't even have to win the Super Bowl, too, to win the MVP. But as I said, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills to win that game. And that's it for the AFC. Moving on to the NFC. The first game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Green Bay Packers. The Eagles will win because Green Bay is banged up with injuries. Christian Watson is done for the year. This is a rematch from week 1. I won't be surprised if the Packers win this game. This is going to be a very good game. This is going to be close. I feel like this is going to be a shootout, okay? It's in Philly. It's going to come down to the wire. I won't be surprised if the Packers pull off the upset, okay? Because before the season started, I had the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game, okay, going up against the Detroit Lions. But Green Bay can still make it to the NFC Championship game, though, even though Jordan Love doesn't have Christian Watson. The offense is still good, and they got a very good defense as well, too. So, but this Green Bay offense is good, but they're going up against a very scary Philadelphia Eagles defense. Saquon Barkley is going up against a Green Bay Packers defense. Saquon Barkley is going to go off. Will Jalen Hurts play? We don't know. But anyways, I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Green Bay Packers. Next NFC game, we got the Washington Commanders traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh boy, this is a shootout right here. Forget the Green Bay and Philly game, the shootout. This game is about to be a shootout, okay? All right. Both of them are going to be in the 30s. All right. This is going to be a high scoring game. Both of these teams have an elite offense. Washington, Jaden Daniels, elite quarterback. Scary Terry is a good wide receiver. And both of these defenses are missed. So that's why I say it's going to be an offensive game, because really their defense is, both of these teams' defense is not trash, but they're mid. Okay. They got a mid defense. And my pick is, I'm picking, drum roll, I'm going with the Washington Commanders to upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The game will be, I'm calling right now, Commanders win 38-35 off of a game-winning field goal. Buccaneers score a touchdown to tie the game at 35. Jaden Daniels gets the ball, drives down the field, uses his legs, gets them into field goal range. Washington kicks a game-winning field goal, pulls off the upset. Jaden Daniels is about to go crazy in his playoff debut. Baker Mayfield, I feel like he's going to have a good game as well, too. Marshawn Lattimore versus Mike Evans in the playoffs is going to be good times. It's going to be watching that New Orleans and Tampa Bay rivalry. I cannot wait for this game. This will be played on Sunday as well, too. Give me Washington over Tampa Bay. And then last but not least, we got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Vikings had a horrible game against Detroit. Needed some momentum going into the playoffs. This Rams team, I did not expect the Los Angeles Rams to be this good, okay? But the Rams proved a lot of people wrong. I didn't know they was going to win the division. I didn't know they was going to make the playoffs this year since Aaron Donald retired. This Rams defense is still good, even though Donald left. This Rams defense is still good. The offense is still good. Matthew Stafford is still playing at a high level. You got his top two targets, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. I will not be surprised if the Rams win this game. And this can go either way, too. But overall, I am taking the Minnesota Vikings to beat the Los Angeles Rams to advance to the divisional round. And then my divisional round is set. I got Buffalo and Baltimore, Chargers, Chiefs, Commanders, Lions, and Eagles, Vikings. I'm here to tell y'all who I got winning in my divisional round. Bills, Ravens, good game. Battle for the MVP. I feel like whoever wins this game is going to win MVP. And I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens to beat Buffalo. Chargers, Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs, because y'all know the Chiefs coming off a bye week. You can never go up against, come on, Goat Mahomes coming off a bye week is ready to go. So I got Ravens, Chiefs, AFC Championship game. In the NFC, I got Detroit beating Washington and Philly beating Minnesota. Detroit, Philly, NFC Championship game. Ravens, Chiefs, AFC Championship game. In the AFC Championship game, I am rolling with the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Lamar Jackson will get over that hump and defeat Kansas City. I feel like the Ravens can beat the Chiefs. It's just mentality-wise. It's all mental. And I feel like Lamar Jackson is going to outplay Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game. So that's Baltimore advancing to the Super Bowl in the AFC. NFC Championship game, Detroit, Philly, shootout. Okay, this is a shootout right here. Final score might be 50-47. This game will be played in Detroit. I won't be surprised if the Eagles win, and it's gonna go either way. Okay, might go to overtime, might not go to overtime. Gonna come down to a game with a field goal. I'm rolling with the Lions to beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game to advance to the Super Bowl. And then my Super Bowl is set. I got the Baltimore Ravens and Detroit Lions. Jared Goff versus Lamar Jackson. And drum roll, please. This is going to be a good one. And New Orleans, I'm rolling with this is the Super Bowl winner, the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, I got the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl this year. Lamar Jackson's going to get over the hump. He's going to silence all the critics and win his third MVP. Mark my words. All right. And Baltimore will win their first Super Bowl since 2012. Remember, last time Baltimore won a Super Bowl, it was in New Orleans too. So, you never know. History might repeat itself. But, yes, before the season started, I had the Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions as my Super Bowl pick, and I had Baltimore winning because I wanted to see Lamar Jackson get over that hump because Lamar Jackson is a phenomenal quarterback. Like, I want to see Lamar and the Ravens beat teams like Buffalo and Kansas City because those are the top two teams in the AFC. So I got the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl this year. And that concludes today's show of the Now Report. And I have posted the Texans and Chargers playoff preview on TikTok and Instagram as well too at @the_now_report. So make sure you go check that out as well too. Like I just said, make sure you follow me on all of my social media platforms. This concludes today's show of the Now Report. And before I go, make sure you click that bell to make sure to get all the notifications on when I go live. To follow me on all of my social media platforms at @the_now_report. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube. Share the video. Have a good rest of your day. Nardal, and have a good weekend of college football and NFL football playoffs.